Good morning, everyone. So my name is Michelle B. Falior, and I was assigned to discuss to you about the research tools. Okay, so by the way, before that, this is my first time to talk about or study about research because during my undergraduate, we don't have research at that time. So I was very unfortunate. So this is quite challenging for me to discuss to you about the research tools because I don't have any experience about this one. So I know some of you already made research. So I know some of you also use the different tools in research. And yeah, I think that's all. So I think let's start. Okay. So first we have the objectives. So the objectives for this topic is to identify the types of tools that researchers can use for their research and identify basic concepts associated with each tool. All right. So my discussion will start with a question. What is research tools? Okay, I know some of you know about what is a research tools, but some who don't understand or who don't have idea about research tools. Okay, research tools or research tool, a specific mechanism, strategy, or resource the researcher uses to collect, manipulate, or interpret data. Okay, and we have six general tools of research. Okay, so what are the six general tools of research? So first we have the library and its resources. Okay, I know some of you nga na mga kanang gakanda og research. So of course, you will go to the library and you will find for resources because I know in the library we can find lots of books there. Okay, and also if you are not so fond of opening books, so you can go to the computer and it's software. Okay, that's the second general tools for research. So computer and its software. So um, um, you can just kanang mag-research ta sa computer. It's the fastest way, okay, to get information. But yeah, there are disadvantages when you go directly to computer. So I will just discuss it to you later. Okay, next is techniques of measurement. Okay, statistics, the human mind, okay, and the language. Okay, that's our six general tools for of research. Okay, so let's start with the library and its resources. So how to access information quickly and efficient in the library. So ako dili kay ko ganahan mo sudog library kay malipong ko makakitag libro. Betaw, um, mau challenging kaayo nako ang research kay dili jud kay ko into books. Okay, sa una, when I was in high school, so I hate naman mi subject sa una or na part sa amo ang schedule before nga moadto sa library. So dili ko ganahan musud sa library. What I did in the library is that I would just talk in a whisper mode. So kay bawal man ta mo tabi og kusog. So di jud ko ganahan og libro. Promise. Okay, that's why musalute jud ko anang mga taong ganahan kay og libro. Okay, so in the library you can find the you will ask for you can ask from the research librarian. Okay, so kanang sa ang research librarian ba dili ka mauwaw kuno ana sila. You do not be afraid to ask librarians for assistance. Yeah, basi magpataka ra ka because daghan kay books sa library. So wala na kakaibaw asa kag paingon or asa dapit ang books na para sa imong study. So daghan kay libro. So dili ta magpataka og asa ta paingon. So you will ask from the librarians for assistance. And of course, you have the browsing the library shelves. So there are also libraries na yeah, I think all of the libraries has codes na sila mga books, coded books, and they already arrange the books. And arrange on the library shelves in accordance with two principal systems. So, na yung mga kanang arrangement ang books sa library. So we have the Dewey Decimal System. So they used by most public libraries and many public schools. So the Dewey Decimal System, and we also have the Library of Congress, the Library of Congress system. So used by most colleges and university. So yeah, you can choose between the two, the Dewey Decimal System or the Library of Congress system. Okay, and in University of Georgia, nasa gitawag nga browsing Jill or Galileo from computer station in their library. So when they kanang naato dire nakalimot bitaw ko ay so what is Jill and Galileo mean? Okay, when they use Jill, Gil, to find books, periodicals, and other materials found in individual libraries. While if they will use Galileo, okay, Galileo, so to find periodical articles. Okay, so yeah, so in the University of Georgia na siya. So I don't know in the Philippines if we have these browsing kanang browsing code okay mga code gani nga kanang i-access nato karon dali ra ang pag-browse. Okay. So next, all right, we have the computer and its software. So in the computer and its software, we have the planning. First is the planning the study. So what do you mean by planning the study? So brainstorming, outlining, project management, budget assistance. So it's part of planning the study. Okay, so mag-brainstorm sa ta, no? Mag-brainstorm sa ta. So, next is the literature review. So, in literature review, we have the background literature identification, telecommunication, electronic storage and retrieval, and writing assistance. Okay, and next is the study implementation and data gathering. So, in study implementation and data gathering, we have the materials production, experimental control, survey distribution, data collection assistance. Okay, so I am quite familiar with study implementation and data gathering, if I am not mistaken. So you can use Google Forms. Okay, you can use Google Forms to conduct survey. Okay, so yeah, murag kana ra siya ako na familiar ran. Okay, Google Forms. Because during the pandemic, most of the teachers they use Google Forms to conduct studies for their students. Okay, and here we have analysis and interpretation. Okay, analysis and interpretation is organizational, conceptual, statistical, graphic production assistance. Okay, kung makadungog kong statistics, bakit? Maglibog na ko. But okay, I've already finished taking statistics last semester. So, until now, galibog hapon ko. So, and next one is the reporting, communication, writing and editing, publishing, and distribution assistance. So that's number 2, the computer and its software. Okay, so what are the last time I talked about that. We have advantages when we use the computer and its software for our research tools, or one of our research tools. So the advantage is that it's a worldwide web. What do you mean by World Wide Web? So you can see online journals, Yeah, there are many journals from other countries. And next, you have the online database. Online database, yeah. And you can use the search engines such as Google or Yahoo. So, yeah, they are limitless. Okay, walay limit. So bisag asa ka paingon. So as long as makakuha kag information about your research. Okay, so you can also internet also, it's an electronic mail, so it can facilitate collaboration among people having similar interests. So what do you mean by that? So you can ask information from other people. Okay? You can send email from them. So if the yeah kanang parehas mo interest, parehas mo kanang gistudyhan, so but kanang gapuyo siya sa kanang butang tala Greenland. Greenland kay layo jud siya. So you can send email to him or her. Okay, so dili na lisod ang pag-communicate with them. So kay kanang you can just send email. Next is um what do you mean by this one? Okay, that's all. Okay, and next if we have advantage of the internet, we also have disadvantages of internet. So for example, you use the www. We this is the most common like the most common how do I say this one? This is the most common when we open a website, right? So www dot okay, kasagod kay taana. So it's an open forum virtually anyone can publish anything. So bisag kinsa pwede makapublish. Okay, so as a researcher, you simply can't use unverified sources. So dili ta magpataka kay abitin siya sa internet. So not all information from the internet are what do I mean by that? Valid or sakto. Okay, dili tanan sakto. So pariha atong kuan. I don't know if you are a K-pop fan, but ato ingon sila nga ang business proposal na ay season 2. So giganahan sad ko. Giganahan sad ko kay ay season 2 pero according to the kanang 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 resource kanang source jud nila from Korea, so they don't have, or according to the director. Okay, so siya joy source no kasi siya may mag-direct jud ana nga salida. So wala ko na yung season 2. So dili tanan ko dili tanang part sa dili tanang information sa computer kay sakto. So we have to be careful with that. So even Wikipedia, so is not an acceptable source to cite for a research paper. So dili tanang naa sa Wikipedia sakto. So Wikipedia can sometimes be used as a pointer to reliable sources such as peer-reviewed research reports. So other online articles from university sites can often be used in the same way and track down those published sources and use them. Otherwise, you can know credibility as a researcher. So dapat verified ang ato ang sources. Kaya dili credible ang ato ang research with if we use and verify sources. Okay. So next is we have the measurement as a tool of research. So what do you mean? Measurement is limiting the data so that those data can be interpreted and ultimately compared to an acceptable qualitative or quantitative standard. So we have two types of measurement. So we have the substantial and insubstantial. Okay, and we also have the data. The data is limited by measurement construct, instrumental capability, amount of raw information we are prepared to deal with. Okay, so here, measuring insubstantial phenomena. Okay, so in measuring the um, oh, sorry. Okay, wait. In measuring this in substantial phenomena, so you will measure the interpersonal dynamics of a group of people. So, what do you mean by this? So, um, um, give each person in the group a slip of paper, on which to confidentially record three choices. So, what are the three choices? One or more individuals in the group whom the person likes most. Next, one of more individuals whom the person likes least. And the other one is one or more individuals for whom the person has no strong feeling one way or another. So these are the three choices. Okay, so after that, draw a chart or sociogram. Okay. And then after you draw a chart or sociogram, you assign weights that place the data into three numerical categories. So, positive 1 for a positive choice, 0 for indifference, and negative 1 for a negative reaction. Okay, and then after that, you construct a sociometric matrix, and then certain relationships begin to emerge. Okay, that's an example of measuring insubstantial phenomena. Okay, next is interpretation of the data. So, in interpretation of the data have been transformed into small discoveries, revelations, enlightenments, and insights that the researcher has never seen before. Okay, and we also have measurement is ultimately a comparison with an acceptable qualitative standard, norms, averages, conformity to expected statistical distribution, goodness of feed, accuracy of description. All right. So we have four scales of measurement. I know you are very familiar with this one. So first we have the nominal, next is the ordinal, next is the interval, and next is the ratio. Okay, for nominal scale, you measures data to some degree by assigning names to them. And you're going to divide data into discrete categories um, that can that can then be compared with one another. And then next is the only a few statistics are appropriate for analyzing nominal data. So the example for this one is the mode. Okay, I know you are familiar with mode. Katito, mean, median mode. Okay, the mode, percentage, and the chi-square test. Okay, next is the ordinal scale. So in ordinal scale, you compare various pieces of data in terms of one being greater or higher than another. So it's a rank order data. Okay, what do you mean by this one? Rank order data. For example, shortest, taller, tallest. Okay, so it expands the range of statistical techniques that can be applied to data like the median. Okay, so kung ang nominal scale is mode, in ordinal scale you can use median, percentile rank, and Spearman's rank order correlation. I'm not familiar with Spearman's rank order correlation. Okay, next is we have the interval data. So for the interval data has equal units of measurement, and the 0 point has been established arbitrarily and enables one to determine the mean, standard deviation, and product moment correlation, and allows one to conduct most inferential statistics analysis. So interval data, so kung ang nominal is mode, ang ordinal is median, so the interval is mean. Okay, so for the ratio scale, Okay, for the ratio scale, has an equal measurement units, so similar to an interval scale, but it has an absolute 0 point, and it expresses values in terms of multiples and fractional parts, and the ratios are true ratios. Okay. Enables one also to determine the geometric mean and the percentage variation, and allows one to conduct virtually any inferential statistical analysis. Okay, so I have here examples of scales of measurement. So when you say what is a nominal scale, so a scale that categorizes items. Okay. Next, what is an ordinal scale? So a scale that categorizes and rank orders items. And what is an interval scale? A scale that categorizes and rank order items and has equal intervals. And what is a ratio scale? It is a scale that categorizes and rank order items, has equal intervals, and a zero that means the absence or none of the thing being measured. All right. So next we have here the validity and reliability of measurement. So when you say the validity and the reliability of your measurement instrument influence the extent to which you can learn something about the phenomenon you are studying. So, di siguro ka mag-study no og wala kay makatunan. So that's why you are conducting that study kay gusto ka makahibaw, gusto ka makahibaw gusto ka makahibaw kung unsa effect or unsa ang imong gistudyhan. Yes, and the probability that you will obtain statistical significance in your data analysis and the extent to which you can draw meaningful conclusions from your data. Okay, so we have here validity. So validity means the extent to which the instrument measures what it is supposed to measure. And for the reliability, the consistency with which a measuring instrument yields a certain result when the entity being measured hasn't changed. Okay, and it is also necessary but insufficient condition for validity. Okay, wait. Wala na sa'yo po Pero ang reliability kay kaan siya the consistency with which a measuring measuring instrument yields a certain result when the entity being measured hasn't changed. Okay, and another one is it is necessary but insufficient condition for validity. Okay, so both validity and reliability reflect the degree to which we may have error in our measurements. And they take different forms depending on the nature of the research problem and the general methodology the researcher uses to address the problem and the nature of the data that are collected. Okay? So, malata sa number 3, no? Taas jud ang measurements ay. Taas jud siya. Next, we have the statistics. Okay, so maglambad na akong ulo makadungog aning statistics. Kaya joke, right? So, statistics give researchers information about the data. Okay, discovering the meaning of the data and its relevance to the research problem is a task of researchers. Okay, so we have the primary functions of statistics. Okay, primary functions of statistics. So before that, statistics have two principal functions to help the researchers. So first is the descriptive statistics, and next is the inferential statistics. So I will not kanang dili lang mo deep o discuss about descriptive and inferential statistics kay naaman ni siya sa part man ni siya sa atoang kanang sa atoang kanang ito subjects ka sa kanang sa atong graduate studies. So naani siya ang kanang inferential and descriptive statistics. So galabad akong uan ni during sa amo ang klase last semester. So dili kay ko ka-discuss about ani. So pasensya kayo. Okay. So sulti lang ko about descriptive statistics. So descriptive statistics is to summarize the general nature of the data obtained, while the inferential statistics kanang it helps a researcher to make decision about whether or to what extent the data for the research participants can be generalized to others outside of the study. So, muna siya. Okay, and next, okay, the human mind. Okay, so we can also use for our human mind for our research tool. So strategies to help researchers make use of the human mind to better understand the unknown: deductive logic, inductive reasoning, the scientific method, critical thinking, and collaboration with others. Okay, so kay kanang anong gi-appeal na to ang human mind kay only the human mind of a researcher can interpret collected data and arrive at a logical conclusion as to their meaning. So dili maka help ang computer to kanang interpret the collected data. So igura sila magamit ato ang computer to collect the data. They cannot interpret the data. Okay, so ang researcher or kita gyud mismo kung nag-conduct of research ang maka-interpret sa atong na-collect na data. Okay? So, we have the deductive. Okay, asa naman ito? Okay, deductive logic. So, what is a deductive logic? So, it begins with one or more premises, which are statements or assumptions that are self-evident and widely accepted truths. And reasoning proceeds logically from these premises toward conclusion that must also be true. And it is extremely valuable for generating research, hypothesis, and testing theories. Okay, so next is the inductive reasoning. So it begins with observation and leads to general conclusions. And next is the scientific method. So a method of searching after knowledge, and the application of the scientific method often involves both deductive and inductive reasoning. So, by the way, it is a means whereby insight into the unknown is sought by to identifying a problem that defines the goal of one's guest. Gathering data relevant to the hypothesis and analyzing and interpreting the data to see whether they support the hypothesis and resolve the question that initiated the research. Okay, and next is the critical thinking. So good researchers engage in critical thinking, and it involves evaluating information or arguments in terms of their accuracy and worth. Okay, next is the collaboration with, by the way, sa kaning critical thinking, siya variety of forms of critical thinking. So naay verbal reasoning, naay argument analysis, naay decision making, o nasa critical analysis of prior research. Okay, and the last one is the collaboration with others. So any single researcher is appropriate to have certain perspectives, assumptions, and theoretical biases that will limit how he or she approaches a research project. All right. So next we proceed to language. So the greatest achievement of humankind, allowing communication and enabling effective thinking. It is also they also value of knowing two or more languages and the importance of writing. Oh, dili di siya number paka lang jud ko ay number ko ano ni siya number 6 ang language number 6 na ni ang language. So again, we have again the tools of research are um, tools of research are different from the methodologies of research. And again, research tools are a specific mechanism or strategies that the researcher uses to collect, manipulate, or interpret data. And what are the 6 general tools of research? So we have first the library and its resources, the computer and its software, techniques of measurements, statistics, the human mind, and the language. Okay, so wait, thank you. Okay, so goodbye and thank you.